Hey guys, if you are a fan of tabletop role-playing games and Star Trek, you need to check out this Humble Bundle. So what we have here is we have Star Trek Adventures by Modiphius on Humble Bundle. If you're not familiar with Humble Bundle, it is a website where companies can post digital products and raise money for charity. So if you want to pick up your own copies of these games, a portion of that money goes to a charity called Girls That Code. And if you use my link down below, you'll help support this channel as well. So all around awesome vibes. So Star Trek Adventures from Modiphius. So let's take a look at what you get at the different levels of the Humble Bundle. So as you can see here, there are 3 levels. We'll go to the 2-item bundle. If you're someone like that just wants to try out a system, probably isn't going to commit a big portion of time to learning the system, and your players maybe just want to play around, I would check out the $1 bundle here, because what you get is you get the starter set and you get a starting adventure. So you have a couple of sessions worth of gameplay. You have everything you need to play. You know, it's a simplified rule book. I'll pull up the starter set rule book. It's 24 pages long. It is, you know, everything you kind of need to know for Star Trek. Now, Star Trek, this system is pretty crazy. It gets really detailed. Like, you can develop your own technologies, and there's science and all this other stuff that happens mechanically in the world. And that's really awesome. But if you're only playing a session or two, you probably don't need to know all that stuff. So the starter set rules are great to just get in and playing. And I like the starter set rules too. Even if I was going to do a huge campaign and bring some players on to play for months or years, I would probably give them the starting set rules just to understand kind of how the game works before we start playing. So if they were new to the system, this is what I would hand them. And I do that with all the other systems that I play too, especially like Pathfinder. I have the starter set rulebook. I have a couple copies of that actually, and that always goes to new players. Like, here's just the basic rulebook. This is how it plays. This is how the game works. So, you know, a lot of times the big core rulebooks, the 400-page core rulebooks, can be overwhelming for new players. So you also get a couple of starting adventures. You know, they give you you know, a whole storyline, everything you need. This is a 52-page adventure. So that's probably 2 or 3 sessions worth of playtime. So awesome for $1. You also get pre-made character sheets. It's everything you could want and more when it comes to getting into a new system, and you can get it for only $1, which is a great deal, honestly. So if you're just thinking about dipping your toes, go on and yeah, pick this one up, because this is a no-brainer for anybody that just wants to play in the system. Now, moving up to the $13 or to the $15 bundle, the 13-item bundle, what do we get here? And what we get is, this is kind of maybe I would say half the system, right? So this is kind of like half the things that you would want to complete all the mechanical parts of the system. It doesn't necessarily have any adventures. What it does have is it has like a lot of NPC stuff. It has a lot of the core rule books. So what's really interesting about Star Trek Adventures is that you have the normal core rule book, and then you also have a Klingon core rule book, which is really interesting. I did not realize that. So the normal rule book, this is the Starfleet. This is, you know, everything you would imagine a Star Trek game being, but there's a Klingon rulebook, and it has kind of different mechanics because their culture works differently. So, you know, it's more battle based. Reputation and stuff like that are, you know, calculated differently. So this is really interesting. I mean, this is actually a little bit bigger rule book than the original rule book, and it is definitely, you know, styled in the Klingon style compared to the Star Trek, which is feels very much original Star Trek to me. Maybe a little bit Next Generation. That is a cool little add-on at the $15 bundle. So you get the 2 core rule books. You also get uh, quite a few supplements, and you get the Alpha Quadrant and Beta Quadrant books. So this is going to have kind of the Alpha Quadrant is going to have some of the other races that you see in the normal Federation, and then the Beta Quadrant is all going to be Romulan and Klingon extra stuff. You also get the Klingon Empire Toolkit, which is a bunch of Klingon ships, things of that nature. There are the player's guide, great to hand out to players if you're doing a big campaign. I'd actually, player's guide and the starter rulebook, really good things to hand out. There's a few other little things in here, but I think the main 2 core rule books, the quadrant books, player's guide, and then of course you do get the starter set, everything from the original bundle in this. So if you're a dungeon master and you want to write your own adventures, this would be maybe the way to go. Save some money. So when we go up to the $25 bundle, this is where we get the other 2 quadrants. So you get like the gamma quadrant and the delta quadrant. So the delta quadrant is Borg, that sort of stuff. Gamma quadrant is like Deep Space Nine was in the gamma quadrant. So those are really, if you want to expand the galaxy that you can explore, you can certainly do that. This also has a lot of campaigns based on TV shows. So, Strange New Worlds. These are the voyages. These 2 are adventure mission campaigns. In addition to that, you also have Lower Decks, which is awesome. This is honestly why I picked this one up, because I knew I could probably get my friends to play Lower Decks more than just Star Trek. A lot of people are really into Lower Decks, so that is really cool. You got a couple seasons worth of adventures to be played, and it has a little bit of a different flavor than the standard game does. You also have, the Discovery Campaign Guide. You have a few other big campaign guides, more source books, so more ships and races and things of that nature. You also have, the original series characters. So you have, these are all NPCs. So you have your next gen characters. If you wanted to drop Picard in, there you go. If you wanted to drop Spock or Captain Kirk in, there you go. There you got Deep Space Nine characters, Voyager characters. Man, I would put Janeway in charge of my ship. I don't know about you guys, but I think she's goated. Best captain. Picard, I thought would be, but the new TV show kind of ruined it a little bit to me. Honestly, I think I might do a campaign based on this, and I'd probably mix in what I would consider the greatest Star Trek show, the Orville, in with it a little bit. Maybe run some of the episodes from the Orville as missions in the Star Trek game. I think that would be a lot of fun as well. So if you are interested in any of these, make sure you follow the link in the description below. And yeah, definitely check these out. This is an awesome deal. If you are a Star Trek fan, or you know a Star Trek fan that loves to play role-playing games, this is something you don't want to miss. So have a good one, you guys. Live long and prosper.